Hello peeps, it's the Hillbilly Halfwit here, Gaza today, and what we're going to talk about now is how civil servants seem to be getting huge massive wages for planting these trees. Now this came out about a couple of weeks ago. It's been on for quite a while now, but I had a good look into it, and you would not believe there's a 422 acre farm being bought down Bristol way, and there's actually 20 civil servants working on it, and that's not doing any manual work. 20 on a 422 acre farm. Previously that was a family farm that would have been run by a little family, maybe two people. So you'll have 20 civil servants on 50 to 60, maybe up to £100,000. It's absolutely insane. Anyway, if you haven't commented or subscribed or liked or shared already, please do it, because these lovely people that watch this always do it, and they're making this channel work. And thank you all for doing it. So let's get going. As usual, I put up this YouTube policy details. I'm allowed to do a funny or thoughtful revision of content that didn't originally create. Clips of other people's content as part of a critical review. This is what this is. Reaction videos where you comment on the original video. Edited footage from other creators while you add a storyline or commentary. So that is what I'm doing. Now this is the people I'm talking about. All these people are all running a 422 acre farm that was previously run by a family, and it's all going to be planted. Now I went to look into all this, and please wait till watch till the end, because I show you exactly what all these people's jobs previously were, and you'll be a bit shocked. Right, where's the money coming from? Ex-Defra civil servants being paid a fortune. You only have to look at them to realise what this is all about. All this net zero is about creating well-paid jobs for people like this, who hate us all, who hate the farming community. That's what it's all about. And Bristol is a hub of all this stuff. It's full of nuts, the nutty Clermont people. So I'm only going to read these little bits I've underlined, but you yourself can click on it and read it all yourself. Because if I read the whole thing, it'll just go on and on and on, and I don't want to do that, all right? Because there's quite a bit to get through on this one. So, here they are, celebrating the purchase of Wick Farm, the representatives of Avon Needs Trust, Forest of Avon Trust, Tridos Bank, and Defra. How were they in the middle of it? Defra, I thought it was supposed to be helping farming community. A huge swath of farmland just beyond the southern edge of Bristol is to be planted as forest after environmentalists got a 3.85 million loan from a Bristol bank. So how much is that going to cost to pay monthly back, eh? I wonder. Now, the more I see it get into this, Defra is involved in this big time. More than 100,000 trees will be planted, along with the shrubs and the creation of complementary habitats on farmland near the village of Compton Dando, in the countryside just a couple of miles away from Whitchurch and Kensham. A Bristol-based tree planting charity called Avon Needs Trees has purchased a whopping 422 acres of land near the village. Right, a huge swath of farmland just beyond the southern edge of Bristol is to be replanted as forest after environmentalists got a 3.85 million loan from Bristol Bank. The site at the Wick Farm, a traditional estate farm that had been farmed by the same family for 200 years, all that tradition gone in one sweep. Now Avon Needs Trees have bought it to plan to create a huge new nature reserve, complete with wetlands, miles of hedgerow, and a new forest and species-rich grassland. The site will be called Lower Chew Forest, and it will be open to visitors. The Lower Chew Forest will have huge significance to our region, particularly as we have only 7.8% woodland cover in the west of England, which is critically low. Now, here we go. Let's see this. This is to help the climate, and they're encouraging visitors in cars to go there. And they have 20 people working there where there would have been just a few. So that isn't doing anything for the climate. Climate. Oh, if I get a warning for that one mention. Our plans will bring a huge rate of benefits to nature and our communities, including helping tackle the climate emergency, improving biodiversity, connectivity, and providing a place for people to volunteer, learn, and connect with nature. And huge, massive, big salaries for you ex-civil servants. Since it started 5 years ago, you have to remember these wages are going to have to be paid every year to these people. So you have 20 people on from 50 to £100,000 salaries here, guaranteed. So where is this money coming from? So what they do is they get these loans, and they get grants off everybody to pay that. It's a civil service hiding in plain sight. Since it started 5 years ago, Avon Trust has planted more than 35,000 native trees around Bristol. So another 100,000 will almost triple its entire amount in one go. The money to buy the farm was mainly from a loan from Bristol-based Triodos Bank for 3.8 million, as well as a crowdfunder from Avon Needs Trees charity, which raised more than 171,000, along with funds from the Forest of Avon through its Trees for Climate Land Acquisition Fund, backed by Defra's Nature for Climate Fund. So Defra are giving them money. Huge amounts of money. How much? It doesn't actually say here. So let's go through that again. The money to buy the farm was mainly from a loan from Bristol-based Triodos Bank for 3.8 million. So it was mainly from the loan, as well as a crowdfunder from Avon Trust charity, which raised more than 171,000, along with funds from the Forest of Avon through its Trees for Climate Land Acquisition Fund, backed by Defra's Nature for Climate Fund. So they're using the Climate Fund that I've been telling you about for ages, which is huge in Wales, and it's massive. In Wales, it's 4.8 billion, but in England, I'm sure it's 25 billion of your taxpayers' money being frittered about by ex-civil servants. UK council tax money being wasted by the Doomsday Cult. 20 ex-civil service people work for this so-called charity. Celebrating the purchase for Wick Farm, the representatives of Avon Needs Trees, Forest of Avon Trust, Triodos Bank, and Defra. Lara Rumpf, the Senior Relationship Manager for Nature, Food and Resource at Triodos Bank, said the project fitted the bank's mission too. Our work on models for investing in nature restoration projects means we can take an initiative, flexible approach to supporting projects like these, she said. As firm advocates of the critical role the finance system has to play in supporting nature and reverse biodiversity loss, we're proud to support what is arguably the most extensive charity-driven biodiversity net gain initiative in the UK to date, and hope this inspires other projects of this scale in the southwest and beyond. My radar is going off here going, bullshit monitor, bullshit monitor. And this is a civil service run thing. We all know it. So meet the team. If you stick with me now, I'll just zip through these now and you look where they used to work and where they live. And this is the type of people we got. So meet the team. Avon Needs Trees is led by an experienced professional team on board of trustees. Our mission to drive has quickly attracted a talented group of people with a broad range of relevant skills and a passion for our cause. Dave Wood, civil servant, living in the countryside between Bristol and Bath. He's a background in local government,
including being a unitary authority councillor for 17 years, and is currently deputy leader priorities and delivery of Bath and North Somerset Council. Dave has also worked in campaign management, campaigns for the charity sector, including Citizens Advice.
Civil servant on a massive wage. Now here's the big fella. Defra Civil servant, big wage, Mark Funnell.
Mark is the chair of the Avon Needs Trust. He's a communications and campaigns director at the National Trust.
National Trust.
He has specialised in environmental communications and campaigns for over 20 years. His previous roles include Director of Communications at Defra, Head of Communications at the Forest Commission, Head of External Relations at the Environment Agency. He also led transformation to a new operating model for Defra's Group 250 communicational staff. Environmental campaigns, stakeholder relations, public affairs. He started as an editorial and publishing role in consumer magazines.
Basically, he's a civil servant on a massive wage. And he's a campaigner. Nick Murray, another civil servant.
He is a sustainability and climate change professional with experience in both sustainability management and environmental consultancy. Nick has worked in public and private sectors, organisations on their path to net zero. He is an associate lecturer in sustainability and environmental management at Bath Spa University. Nick is a Wiltshire councillor, an environment select committee, a climate emergency task group. He also chairs the Zero Chickenham, a voluntary organisation with the aim of achieving local carbon neutrality by 2030. He's a civil servant on a massive wage. Gavin Spitlouse, he's a bit more normal. He's from Bristol. He's an IT expert. Kathy Bedford. Kathy Bedford is a trustee. Kathy Bedford is a freelance researcher, writer, and trusts and foundations fundraiser with 10 years' experience working for the charity sector and a past career in documentary filmmaking in the BBC.
Oh, BBC. She's from Bristol. Another one making a fortune. Here's another civil servant, John Chew. Have you noticed that that's the same name as the thing, Chew? That was the same name as the Chew, what it was called, wasn't it? The Chew tree thing or something. I will have a look now in a minute.
John has been a primary school teacher for 20 years. His subjects have always been science and geography. He's an accredited forest school educator. More recently, he has become a passionate about sharing knowledge and understanding of the climate change with children of all ages. This is what he says, I have found children to be very concerned about the state of the planet, the animals, forests, and ecosystems. Hold on, let me pull my socks up. That are being destroyed and sometimes lost forever. Let's get them re-engaged with nature and encourage them to learn about our precious natural world. They are our future, and perhaps the greatest hope in sorting out the world. That's John Chew, and he's an ex-civil servant making a fortune. This is Andy Chester, civil servant.
What's he going to speak like?
I think he has spent the last 20 years working for Natural England, creating opportunities. He cut his teeth on the roll out of the open access rights, the so called right to roam. And he was a founding member of the team that created the England Pass Coast.
That guy is one of them ramblers that we all watch and just cause trouble. That's what he is. And he's a civil servant and he's making a fortune. This is Stuart Ailes, civil servant.
Stuart Ailes has been working in nature conservation for 25 years. After some years volunteering, he worked in the charitable sector, making huge amounts of money, pretending that he doesn't get paid. Managing nature reserves in the Avon Wildlife Trust since 2007. He has worked for Natural England as the Senior Reserve Manager for Wiltshire's National Reserves. He brings practical experience of managing woodlands for biodiversity and a passion for natural woodland habitats. Stuart Ailes is a civil servant making a fortune off this thing. Stay with me, we're getting to the end of him now. Theo Blanchard. That doesn't sound like he's done a huge amount of work to me. Theo studied biology at Bristol University and is now a chartered accountant working for a tech company in Bristol. He is very passionate about rewilding and the need to protect our natural heritage. And I hate farmers, by the way. Theo brings experience from the world of finance, but not working can be found exploring wild places and bouldering.
He's a money man. Lucy Garrett. Oh, she's a civil servant. Lucy is a civil servant.
Lucy is a dynamic project manager and sustainability professional with almost a decade of experience in delivering high-impact global UK-based climate and environment programs. Before joining Avon Needs Trust, Lucy worked for a positive impact film, Palladium International, taking a leading role in fighting tropical deforestation as a global portfolio manager for Partnerships for Forests and restoring peatland and creating woodland in the UK national parks through river. Lucy brings a broad set of skills including project management and operations, staff well-being, development, climate and forestry expertise, strategic communications, and monitoring and grassing. Alongside her extensive corporate experience, Lucy has worked for several overseas environment charities, getting paid an absolute fortune for not doing a great amount. Has completed Shift Bristol's practical sustainability course to broaden her knowledge.
Lucy Garrett is a civil servant making a fortune out of this. And that's the last one. 20. If you're still with me, fair play. 20 of these tree-hugging, money-grabbing swines making a fortune. We all know this lot are making huge salaries on you. 20 people, ex-people who used to work for the civil service, Defra, they are all protesters working in plain sight. And this is all a civil service-led thing, using money they've taken from us as taxes and pretending to call it a charity. This is a civil service-run quango. That's what this is. This ain't no charity. This is a quango. So I won't carry on. This one's gone on for a while, but thank you for listening. Please comment, rate, and subscribe for more of this comedic comedy. Ta-da!